Hello and welcome to the Geneos 7 Tech Updates. I'm Kobi Corsa, Product Marketing Lead for Financial Services here at ITRS. Today I'm joined by two of our brilliant product owners, Ian Flockhart and Loki Balakrishnan. And we're thrilled to have you join us. As many of you know, we launched ITRS Analytics 6 months ago to bring next generation observability to Geneos' industry-leading real-time monitoring system. This major step forward combined the deep granular monitoring power of Geneos with a modern analytics engine to surface system trends, predict outages, and guide smarter decision making across complex IT environments, highly complex IT environments. Since launch, we've been rolling out Geneos 7 plus ITRS Analytics at many of our top financial services customers, and the feedback has been extremely positive. It's been tremendous. We've continued to evolve the platform. So today, what we're going to do is give you an exclusive look at the latest innovations, including the brand new notifications app, a preview of the upcoming dashboards app, and of course, powerful forecasting enhancements to help you identify, remediate, analyze, and prevent outages. Now, Ian and Loki will walk us through these, but of course, they'll also show us how they're helping real-world teams monitor smarter, act faster, and collaborate better to stay ahead of the curve. First up, we have forecasting for incident prevention and capacity monitoring, and that will be followed by the all-new analytics dashboards. Ian, over to you.
Hello, welcome to this webinar session on forecasting for incident prevention and capacity monitoring. My name is Ian Flockhart and I am the product owner for the Analytics Forecaster application. The Geneos is traditionally focused on real-time monitoring, quickly identifying the presence of issues and then taking actions to resolve them. With the Geneos Forecaster application, our goal is to be notified ahead of time of potential incidents or capacity issues before they have occurred and become incidents. This allows us to reduce risk, improve service quality, and reduce cost by remediating issues in business as usual mode rather than retrospectively as emergency fixes. And we can also use Forecaster just to explore growth trends and help us to ensure that necessary capacity is in place in order to handle forecasted growth. Let's consider some specific use cases. One common scenario that we've encountered in the past is memory leaks, causing either network devices or servers to run out of memory. And this will often be monitored by setting static alerts at high levels of utilization, maybe 95%. And some servers, of course, will normally be higher than that level of utilization. So for those, the alert threshold may be set even higher. And when such an alert is triggered, there'll be last-minute action taken to resolve the problem. If the growth is rapid, there may not be time to resolve it before the alert turns into a real incident. So with Forecaster, it allows us to identify growth trends and key metrics and to be alerted to those before they reach critical levels. And this allows time to take preventative action to stop these trends turning into actual incidents. In this example, we're monitoring server memory, and we can see a clear trend upwards in several of these servers. Just switch between a few of them. There's a good example here. And so we can project from the line when it will cross the warning and alert thresholds. And as soon as Forecaster determines that the forecast is going to cross one of those thresholds, it will trigger an alert signal. So in this case, that's going to give us substantial advance notice that we are running out of memory on a server. Here we are on the current time, and we've got almost a month before it's going to hit an alert warning signal. So that's giving us a huge amount of time to take action on that server and to prevent this actually becoming an incident that we're having to deal with at the last minute. So by addressing that issue early, we can operate in a business as usual mode and far more cost effectively than taking emergency action to resolve it when it actually occurs. Another example on the infrastructure side would be monitoring file system usage across servers. So here we've got a number of different servers having all of their disk partitions monitored. This one's got a downward trend. We got another one here with a flatlining trend. And let's have a look at the third server's root drive. And here we've got a slightly downward trend, but where the periodicity of the drive utilization has been picked up by the forecast as well, so we can see that kind of wavy line pattern. And in a similar vein, we can use Forecaster to monitor storage utilization on Kubernetes pods. So here we're looking at different pod storage utilization. You can see slight upward trend on this one. Again, well away from any threshold generation, but these forecasts are continually reevaluated. So as soon as the projected forecast line would cross a threshold, we would get an alert triggered in the system to tell us about that. Now we can use Forecaster with any metric collected by Geneos. So far we've focused on infrastructure metrics, but we can use Forecaster on any type of metric, and that means we can use it for a very wide range of use case, such as service performance monitoring, close of business, batch job duration, increase in user numbers, trade volumes, etc. In this example here, we are using Forecaster to monitor any growth in response time of an application API with the thresholds set to our agreed level of service. So how do we create a new configuration? Well, we go to the Add button up here, and that will give us a configuration menu. We choose a group for the configuration, and we choose a name for the configuration. Then we need to choose a metric. Let's have a look at the Kubernetes nodes and file system usage. And if we want to filter this further, then we've got the option of adding in some additional filters. There's only 3 nodes here, so I don't need to do that. And by default, it's going to use a look back of 1 day. And we just choose what thresholds we would like to see and how far into the future we would like to forecast. So let me choose 1 day ahead for each of those. And the screen at the bottom here is showing the impact on that particular entity. And when I'm happy with the configuration, I would just save it, and it will appear at the end of my list here. I didn't set that to generate signals, so if you want it to generate signals, this was just an example to set up. You want it to generate signals, you have to turn it on, and then it would start to generate signals for the rest of the system. So when signals are generated by the Forecaster app, they will appear like every other signal in the alerting app. They will all have a signal category of forecast. So I can see some forecasts here. If I click on that signal category, it's going to narrow down to show me only the forecast signals. And I can see my historical trends here as to how many forecast signals have been generated in my current time period, which is currently the last 5 days, compared to the previous time period. And I can also see the specific entities that have been generating those forecast signals. So if I just click on one of those and have a look at it, there's a memory used signal, forecast signal. Forecast signal will breach the threshold of 70 in 268 hours, 47 minutes, and gives me the configuration group there. It's called the monitor configuration group, and the configuration name is memory usage. And here's the actual memory usage metric, and it's trending upwards, as you can see. So in summary, Forecaster allows continual real-time monitoring of usage trends and raising of alerts when a metric is forecast to breach a threshold. Using this application, businesses can get ahead of the curve, addressing issues early before they become incidents that could become major problems. Now, our customers have been telling us for years how much they appreciate the active dashboards in Geneos, whether that be for live monitoring from the desktop or for big screen overviews in the office. They like the highly visual overviews of data and key metrics. However, they also tell us that these can take a lot of time to create and to maintain. They may require specific data views to be created on the gateway to bring together the required data and make calculations. And they may need to be modified manually to incorporate new data or monitored entities. In today's rapidly changing data environment, we wanted to create something that would be quicker to create, easier to maintain, would adapt automatically to changing data, and would provide a high degree of user interactivity out of the box. Now, in terms of use cases we want to support, that includes live monitoring views, but also incident investigation and remediation. When an alert occurs, either Entity Viewer in Analytics or Active Console on the desktop is good at showing me the details for the alerting entity. But I'd like a bigger picture overview of the whole system. I'd like to be able to check if the current issue is indicative of some wider problem. Am I about to see other alerts because other related components are deteriorating? And if I see something of interest, I may want to share that view with others on the team who can help to resolve it. So let's look at some of the capabilities we're adding to these dashboards. Firstly, we have the ability to show top N views over the data. So the panel on the left here is showing the top 10 servers ordered by descending CPU utilization over the last hour. If I want to change the order to show top 10 by memory or the bottom 10 CPU, then I can use the sort order buttons on the column headers. And if I need to filter on individual servers, then I can use the filter widgets here. And if the server I'm looking for isn't in the top 10 right now, then I can use the search button to search for that entity in the list. And the charts on the right here are updating in real time, and they're connected to this panel. And so that any selections and filterings I make on here will be reflected in the charts. And I can also choose what time period I'm looking at in the charts as well. So at the moment I'm looking at past week, but I could choose any of these standard time periods. And the other thing to note is that this view on the left is actually mixing both live data that's coming through in real time and calculated aggregations. So this value is calculated as the peak value over the last hour for CPU, and here we have the peak value over the last hour for memory. And we support all types of calculations, percentiles, averages, and a range of different time periods. And so that's quite unique as well, being able to, within the UI, define a calculation and mixing that with real-time values on the same display. And finally, there's built-in interaction with other apps and analytics. So for example, if I am in the Entity Viewer and I can see I have an alerting item here, it's a timescale component on a particular pod within my Kubernetes estate, and it's a file system usage metric that's alerting. But I now also have a dashboards tile, and the dashboards tile will show me any dashboard that contains that particular entity. So if I want to widen out my scope to look at the broader system and determine whether or not this is an isolated issue or is potentially impacting other things, then I can use that dashboard to do that. So when I click on it, it will launch the dashboard. It will show me the particular pod that I have selected. It's giving me some statistics on the node on which the pod runs. I have some charts relating to that recent history. I have the statistics on the current pod that I'm inspecting. And if I scroll further down here, I can also see the containers on which that are running on that pod, and also some information about the volumes, the pod volumes. So lots of information that I can consume relating to that specific pod. And if I want to widen that out further to see the whole system, then I can remove the filter on the pod. And now I'm looking at my whole application, and I can see whether there's any adverse impact on the rest of the system as a consequence of that alerting item. Now, if I find something of interest, then I can share these dashboards with others. So in this case, this one has got sharing on the server charts dashboard. Or I can make them public, so I can make them accessible to anyone who is running analytics, and that allows me to share dashboards, share work, share views between different users on the system. Now, this is a beta application. It's changing rapidly, both in terms of its functionality and in terms of the UX. It's available now for early adopters to use to provide feedback. If you would like to be part of our early adopter program, then please reach out to us via your account manager in the first instance, and we'd love to have you on board and take your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. That was a great walkthrough of what's coming with the Dashboards app. You've now seen how to predict and visualize potential issues, but once you've spotted something important, how do you make sure that all of the right people see it and are able to act on it fast? That brings us to one of the most exciting parts of today's update, real-time alerting fully integrated with Microsoft Teams, where your teams live. Loki and I have been talking about this for a while, and he knows I've really been looking forward to this one. So let's take a look.
Hi, and welcome everyone. My name is Loki-san. I'm a technical product owner at ITRS. Today, I'm really excited to introduce a powerful new capability in Geneos and ITRS Analytics, the ability to trigger alert notifications directly into Microsoft Teams. This feature is designed to cut through noise and deliver meaningful, actionable alerts right into the place where your teams are already working, making it faster and easier to understand, triage, and resolve issues in real time. So let's take a quick look at how that works, why it matters, and how it can transform your alerting experience. As many of you know, traditional alerting methods can be overwhelming. Too many alerts cause noise, duplicates can create fatigue, and critical issues often get buried in email. Even worse, many alerts lack the context needed for quick action. They are sent in inboxes or to service tools, disconnected from where the collaboration is actually happening. The end result is slower responses, more manual work, and a greater risk of missing the key incidents. That's where Microsoft Teams comes in. It's a go-to collaboration hub for many of our organizations that we work with across SREs, DevOps, support teams, and even business stakeholders. By integrating alerts directly into Teams, we close the gap between awareness and action. With this integration, you get real-time context-switch alerts, immediate collaboration in chat channels, faster incidents, triage and resolution, interactive messages using adaptive cards with buttons and links and key metadata. These alerts aren't just plain text. They are dynamic, actionable, and integrated into your workflow. It also unlocks automation and AI-powered workflows, such as triggering remediation scripts, or surfacing documentation, or suggesting next steps based on the past incidents. It doesn't replace your ticketing system, but it enhances it, reducing noise and speeding up response time. So how does it work? ITRS Analytics can now send filtered, grouped, and formatted alerts directly into Teams. Each alert includes the timestamp, severity level, the affected entity, key attributes, and a direct link to drill down into the issue. These alerts are sent via an incoming Teams webhook and appear in the channel as a rich adaptive card, fully interactive and ready for action. This is where the Teams really shines. You can plug into the broader workflow, integrate AI, or connect to your internal knowledge base to summarize prior responses or to recommend the next steps. It's a huge step forward, turning alerts into insightful, actionable triggers right where your teams are collaborating. Right, let's jump onto a live demo and see it in action. Right, let's start the demo with the Microsoft Teams setup. The first step is to make sure you got the teams and the channel ready to receive the alert messages. In this case, I already created both, so we are good to go. Next, we need to create a workflow that will post messages to this Teams channel when a request is received from ITRS Analytics. So let's do that now. I'll go ahead and create a new workflow. For the trigger, we'll select post to a channel when a webhook request is received. We'll keep the default name for now and give it a moment to connect. And there it is. It's connected now. The next step is to configure the team and the channel we want the messages to be sent to. This should populate automatically, so just give it a second. Great, that looks good. Now let's create the workflow. Once that's done, we'll get a webhook URL, and that is the key part. This URL is what we will use in ITRS Analytics to route the notifications directly into the Teams channel. So let's copy the URL, close this window, and we'll head over to ITRS Analytics web console to set up the notification there. In the Notifications app, you will see that we support multiple targets, including Slack, ServiceNow, a generic webhook, and email, and the newest one is the Microsoft Teams. So let's go ahead and create a new target. We'll give it a name, paste in the URL that we copied, and test the connection to make sure it's working. So that looks good. So we can save it, and that's it. Just like that, we got our Teams target configured, and the ITRS Analytics is now ready to post alert notifications directly into the channel. Now, let's take a quick look at an example notifications. I have a couple of them set up here, so let's take a look at one of them. A couple of things I want to call out here. The filters and the groups based on dimensions and attributes really lets you control exactly what kind of events and entities should trigger the notification. This really helps reduce noise and focus on the alerts that really matter. The message format lets you customize your alert message, so that includes the right context and easy to understand. Right, once that's done, the notifications will automatically post to your Teams channel with all the critical details and the links that you need to take immediate action. So let's take a look at what that looks like in Teams. The notifications are displayed in an adaptive card, so it's well formatted and it's easy to read with links and buttons for actions. The View Entity button will take you straight into the affected entity, opening up the entity viewer and giving you that full context. Okay, you now have access to the full context to explore the activities, look through the metrics, search through your logs, see the history as well as the live data to start your investigation. So linking back into ITRS Analytics with full access to all your data within a single interface, plus the ability to share these URLs is really helpful to resolve issues quickly. Going back to Teams, because this integration is part of a broader Microsoft ecosystem, you can take it even further. For example, you can trigger workflows to create AI-generated summary that can suggest next steps based on access to your own knowledge base. There's a whole library of triggers and actions available in Power Automate that gives you endless possibilities to create smart, connected incident response automation. So that's really powerful. So that's the end of the demo. In summary, the Geneos 7 and ITRS Analytics integration with Microsoft Teams gives you faster incident response, cleaner, more actionable notification, seamless collaboration across your teams, and powerful automation to free up time and reduce the manual effort. There's so much more we can do with this, so get in touch with us if you'd like to explore it further, and we would love to hear your feedback as well. Thanks for watching.
Well, thank you to both Ian and Loki, and thank you to all of you for joining us. We hope today's session gave you a fresh look at what's possible with modern monitoring, from using forecasting and dynamic thresholds to stay ahead of incidents, to gaining real-time insight with interactive dashboards, to driving faster resolution with Teams integrated alerts. At ICRS, our mission is to help you, or to keep your monitoring smart, connected, and tuned into how your teams actually work. Across operations, across DevOps, and of course, the wider business. If you'd like to go deeper on any of the features we've covered, any of the capabilities we've covered, I should say, or you're interested in beta testing the new Dashboards app, for example, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.